My name is Diego, and I was there when Laura's story changed forever. On a rainy afternoon in June, with storm clouds looming over the city, she stood in the small cafe where they used to share laughter and dreams, clutching a letter that bore the weight of 1,000 regrets. The cafe's familiar scent of rain-soaked pavement and freshly brewed coffee filled the air, while the gentle sound of wind chimes tinkled outside, wrapping her in a bittersweet embrace. Her heart raced as hope flickered in her chest, battling the shadows of despair. She smiled but trembled, torn between longing and the pain of betrayal. How can blood turn to poison like this? What nobody knew was that the letter contained a secret that would unravel everything she thought she knew about love, trust, and the man she once called her own. It revealed how her daughter-in-law had tried to steal not just material possessions, but the very essence of her family, threatening to tear apart the bonds that had held them together for so long. As Laura stood there, grappling with the enormity of the betrayal, she couldn't help but wonder if the love she had nurtured was strong enough to withstand such a storm. Laura stood in her cozy kitchen, the scent of fresh apple pie wafting through the air, mingling with the sweet aroma of cinnamon and sugar. Outside, the gentle sound of wind chimes danced in the breeze, their delicate melody a soothing backdrop to her thoughts. She glanced out the window toward the backyard, where the grass was a vibrant green, freshly mowed, and shining under the late afternoon sun. It was a perfect day for a family gathering, a cherished tradition she had upheld since her husband's passing. As she stirred the filling for the pie, her mind wandered back to the countless family dinners they had shared. Memories flooded in, laughter echoing against the walls. Her husband's hearty chuckle as he playfully teased their son about his cooking skills. She could almost hear him say, "Oh my God, you call that a roast?" It made her heart ache with longing, but she knew she had to carry on his legacy. The door creaked open, and her son David stepped in, followed closely by Jennifer, his wife. Laura's heart sank slightly at the sight of Jennifer. Ever since the divorce, her presence had become a reminder of the complications that came with family ties. Still, Laura plastered on a warm smile, determined to keep the atmosphere light. "Hey, Mom, what smells so good?" David asked, his eyes lighting up as he approached the counter. "Just your favorite, apple pie. I thought we could have a little family dinner tonight," Laura replied, her voice steady despite the swirl of emotions inside her. "Oh, I can't believe this," Jennifer chimed in, a hint of sarcasm lacing her tone. "Are you sure it's not too much trouble? I mean, it's not like we have a perfect family history here." Laura felt a twinge of irritation, but chose to ignore it. Instead, she focused on the moment, turning to David. "Remember the stories your dad used to tell about how he learned to make the perfect pie from his grandmother?" David nodded, a smile creeping across his face. "Yeah, he would always say that the secret ingredient was love." "Exactly," Laura said, her heart swelling with pride. "He believed that family meals were sacred, a time to share not just food, but stories and values." As they set the table outside in the backyard, the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden hue over everything. The wind chimes tinkled softly, creating a serene atmosphere. Laura couldn't help but reflect on how much she missed those simple moments with her husband, how they had made their home a sanctuary filled with warmth and joy. After dinner, as they savored the apple pie, Laura felt a wave of nostalgia wash over her. She glanced at her son and Jennifer, who were deep in conversation, their laughter ringing in her ears. But then she noticed Michael, her late husband's brother, lingering at the edge of the yard, watching them with a scowl on his face. "Michael, come join us," Laura called out, trying to bridge the gap. "There's plenty of pie left." He hesitated before walking over, his expression still sour. "I'm just here for the pie," he muttered, taking a seat without further ado. The tension hung thick in the air, almost tangible, and Laura could feel her heart racing. "Remember when Dad used to make us race for the last slice?" David reminisced, trying to lighten the mood. "Oh, please, you always cheated," Jennifer shot back, her voice playful yet sharp. Michael rolled his eyes, his frustration evident. "You all act like he was some kind of saint. He had his faults too." Laura's heart sank even further. "He was human, Michael. We all are," she said softly, trying to keep her composure. Just then, she felt a sudden urge to reach for something that reminded her of her husband's strength and integrity. She excused herself, heading inside to the study where she kept a box filled with cherished mementos. Digging through the contents, she found a letter her husband had written to her, a heartfelt testament to their love and shared dreams. The words leapt off the page as she read them silently, sending shivers down her spine. Returning to the backyard, she cleared her throat, holding the letter tightly. "I found something I think everyone should hear," she announced, her voice steady. "It's a letter from your father." Both David and Jennifer exchanged curious glances, while Michael's expression shifted from disdain to intrigue. Laura began to read the letter aloud, her voice trembling slightly as she recounted his dreams for their family, his hopes for unity, love, and an unbreakable bond. As she read, the atmosphere shifted. The wind chimes chimed a little louder, almost in harmony with her words, as if her husband was there with them. "My heart sank every time I thought of losing my family," she continued, her emotions pouring out. "But I want you to know that love is what makes us strong." When she finished, a profound silence enveloped the backyard. Even Michael seemed taken aback, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I didn't know he felt that way," he admitted softly, his voice barely above a whisper. Laura smiled gently, feeling a sense of relief wash over her. "He loved us all, no matter what. That's what family is about, supporting each other through the good and the bad." In that moment, Laura realized the power of shared memories and love. Even amid the challenges, they could find strength in each other, just as her husband would have wanted. Little did she know, however, that this fragile peace would soon be challenged in ways she never anticipated. Laura gazed out the window. "What a beautiful day," she whispered. Jennifer noticed her distant look. "You seem lost in thought." The scent of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air as Laura leaned against the counter, her eyes fixed on the steaming mug in her hands. The living room, adorned with family photos and memories, felt like a sanctuary, yet today it held an undercurrent of tension. She couldn't shake the unease that had settled in her stomach since hearing about Jennifer's recent visits to a lawyer. "Oh my God, what could she possibly want?" Laura muttered under her breath, her heart sinking at the thought. Tom, her loyal friend, had come over to help her prepare for the family gathering. He was busy arranging the apple pie on the table, his laughter echoing lightly against the backdrop of distant traffic outside. "You're making this way too complicated, Laura. Just focus on the pie. It's gonna be great," he said, trying to lighten her mood. Laura glanced at him, forcing a smile. "It's not just the pie, Tom. It's Jennifer. I can't shake the feeling she's up to something." Tom paused, looking at her with concern. "What do you mean? What's she done now?" "I overheard her talking to Michael about some plans for the future," Laura explained, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Plans that didn't include me. It felt like I was listening to a conversation meant to push me out." Tom raised an eyebrow. "That's definitely suspicious, but it could just be her trying to get back at you for, her past." Laura nodded, feeling the weight of the memories. Jennifer had never been one to play fair. Their history was marred with resentment and manipulation, and Laura had always been the target. "I just wish Michael would see through her. He's always felt overshadowed by me, and now he's aligning with her. It's infuriating." The doorbell rang, and Laura's heart raced. She knew who it was before even opening the door. Jennifer's presence was like a storm brewing on the horizon, dark and foreboding. "Surprise!" Jennifer exclaimed, stepping into the living room with an exaggerated cheerfulness that made Laura's skin crawl. "I hope I'm not too early. I just wanted to chat with you both before everyone arrives." Tom cleared his throat, sensing the tension. "We were just discussing the pie, actually." "Of course you were." Jennifer replied with a coy smile. "But I'd love to talk about something a bit more pressing, like the family finances." Laura's heart raced, and she exchanged a quick glance with Tom, who looked equally uneasy. "Why would you want to talk about that, Jennifer?" Laura asked, trying to keep her tone steady. "Oh, you know, just curious about how everything is being managed. I mean, you're not the only one with a stake in the family's future, right?" Jennifer's words dripped with a thinly veiled threat. The air grew thick with tension as Laura's mind raced. "What do you mean by that?" Jennifer's smile widened. "Just that it's important to know where everyone stands. After all, families can get complicated." Suddenly, the memory of the will flashed in Laura's mind, a lifeline she had clung to ever since her husband had signed it. She needed to remind Jennifer of the boundaries that had been set. "You know, I have the will right here," Laura said, her voice firm. "It clearly states how the inheritance is to be divided. You really shouldn't be so concerned." Jennifer's facade flickered for just a moment. "Oh, Laura, come on, don't be so dramatic. You know how these things can be interpreted. I'm just looking out for what's best for Michael." "Are you really?" Laura shot back, her strength rising to the surface. "Because it seems to me that you're only looking out for yourself. Michael deserves better than to be caught in your manipulative games." Michael appeared just then, oblivious to the charged atmosphere. "What's going on?" he asked, glancing between Laura and Jennifer. "Just a friendly discussion about the future," Jennifer said too quickly. Her smile brittle. Laura took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "Michael, we need to talk about what's really happening here. It's not just a friendly discussion if it involves trying to undermine me." Michael's expression shifted, confusion etched on his face. "What do you mean?" Before Laura could respond, Tom chimed in. "Jennifer has been asking questions about the family finances, and it feels like she's trying to stir up trouble." Michael frowned, looking between the two women. "I didn't realize. I thought we were all in this together." The room fell silent, the tension palpable as Laura's heart raced. This was her moment to stand firm, to reclaim her position within the family. "We are a family, Michael, but that doesn't mean we can ignore the truth. Jennifer has her own agenda, and it doesn't include us." Jennifer's face twisted in anger, her mask slipping. "You're making this sound worse than it is. I'm just trying to ensure that Michael isn't left out." Laura felt a surge of determination. "And I'm trying to protect what my husband left for us. The will is clear, and I won't let you manipulate him any longer." Tom nodded in support, and Laura felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she could fight back against the betrayal. The living room felt charged with new energy, and for the first time, she felt ready to confront the storm that was Jennifer. In that moment, as the distant traffic hummed outside and the scent of apple pie lingered, Laura realized that her strength was more than just a reaction to betrayal. It was the foundation of her resolve. She would not let Jennifer take away her husband's legacy. Laura took a deep breath. "We need to have a serious conversation." Jennifer tensed up. "About what, exactly?" The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over Laura's porch as she sat with her head in her hands, the smell of fresh grass wafting through the air. The chirping of birds seemed to mock her turmoil. She had just left a heated conversation with her son, and her heart sank at his dismissive attitude toward Jennifer's intentions. "Oh my God, how can he not see it?" she whispered to herself, feeling the weight of betrayal pressing down on her. Michael had always adored his mother, but had never truly understood the depths of her struggles. When she confronted him about Jennifer's recent maneuvers, he shrugged it off, believing in his ex-wife's good intentions. "Mom, Jennifer is just trying to figure things out. You know how she gets," he said, waving a hand dismissively. Laura felt a surge of frustration. "Michael, you're missing the point. She's trying to take what's not hers." But he merely shook his head, unconvinced. Feeling defeated, Laura decided to confide in Tom, her loyal friend who had always stood by her side. They met later that day on the porch, the evening light casting long shadows. "I just don't know what to do anymore, Tom." "I can't let Jennifer ruin everything your father worked for," Laura confessed, her voice trembling. Tom leaned forward, concern etched on his face. "You need to gather evidence, Laura. If she's really up to something, you need to be ready." His words ignited a spark within her. Laura nodded, determination flooding her veins. "You're right. I'll dig through the old family records and see if there's anything I can use." Tom smiled, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Just remember, you're stronger than you think." That night, Laura began her quest, pulling out dusty boxes filled with years of family history. As she sifted through old papers, her heart raced. Each document carried memories, but she was searching for discrepancies, anything that could expose Jennifer's deceit. The further she delved, the more she unearthed. She found old wills, letters, and even financial statements that didn't quite add up. Her heart raced with each find. Then, preserve the original language of her late husband, something she had never seen before. It was addressed to her, discussing his wishes for the family legacy. "I want to ensure our children understand the value of what we've built together," he had written. Laura read and reread the passage, her emotions swirling. It was clear he had intended to keep the estate protected from anyone who might try to manipulate it. Suddenly, she felt a pang of betrayal for not having looked deeper sooner. She could hear Tom's words echoing in her mind. She was stronger than she thought. As she pieced everything together, a realization washed over her. She wasn't just fighting for her husband's legacy, she was also fighting for her own peace of mind. The following day, she confronted Michael again, this time with evidence in hand. "You need to look at this," she urged, laying the documents on the kitchen table. "I found discrepancies in what Jennifer has been telling you. This isn't just about the money. It's about integrity." Michael glanced at the papers, his brow furrowing as he began to read. "Laura, I didn't know." "Of course you didn't. You've been blinded by her charm," Laura said, her voice steady. "You need to understand that Jennifer is not the person you think she is. She's been playing both sides." Michael's expression shifted from confusion to realization. "I can't believe this. My heart sank," he muttered. As the weight of the truth settled in, Laura felt a sense of relief wash over her. She was no longer alone in this fight. But just as she thought she had the upper hand, an unexpected twist emerged. Michael's phone buzzed and he answered it. "Jennifer, what do you mean you've already filed the claim?" His face paled and Laura's stomach dropped. "What claim?" she demanded, fear creeping into her voice. "Mom, she's claiming ownership over the estate based on a supposed conversation she had with Dad before he passed," Michael said, his voice trembling. "She's been planning this all along." Laura felt her blood run cold. She had thought she was prepared, but this was something she hadn't anticipated. "We need to act fast, Michael. This is far from over." The strength she had felt moments before was now mixed with urgency and fear. She glanced out at the fading sunlight and realized that the battle for her family's legacy was just beginning. The porch, once a place of solace, had now become the front line of a war she never wanted to fight. "I can't believe you did this!" Laura exclaimed. Jennifer tried to explain, but words failed him. "I can't believe you did this!" Laura exclaimed, her voice rising with a mix of disbelief and anger. Jennifer tried to explain, but words failed him. "This is beyond reason. How could she manipulate our family's legacy like this?" Michael's face was a canvas of confusion and frustration. "Mom, I had no idea. I thought she was just trying to help us navigate everything after Dad passed." "I didn't think she'd go this far." He rubbed the back of his neck, a nervous habit Laura recognized all too well. The wind picked up, rustling the wind chimes hanging from the porch. Their gentle tinkling felt like a haunting reminder of the peace that was slipping away. "We need to confront her," Laura said, her heart pounding. "If she thinks she can just walk in and claim what's rightfully ours, she's sorely mistaken." Michael nodded, his brow furrowing deeper. "But how? She's already filed the claim. What can we even do now?" Laura took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. The scent of rain lingered in the air, promising a storm that mirrored her brewing emotions. "We can gather our evidence and consult a lawyer. We have to fight back, Michael. This isn't just about the estate. It's about standing up to someone who is trying to tear our family apart." The gravity of her words hung in the air like the dark clouds above. "But what if she has something on us? What if she's telling everyone we're the ones being unreasonable?" Michael's voice trembled, uncertainty creeping in. "Let her say what she wants," Laura replied, her tone fierce. "We know the truth, and we have the documents to prove it. It's time to show her we won't back down." As the first raindrops began to patter against the wooden porch, Laura felt a surge of determination wash over her. "Let's get to work, Michael. We need to fight for Dad's legacy, for our family. This is our home, and we won't let anyone take it from us." Michael looked up, a flicker of resolve igniting in his eyes. "You're right, Mom. Let's do this." Together, they stood against the encroaching storm, ready to reclaim what was theirs. "I can't believe you did this," Laura exclaimed. Jennifer tried to explain, but words failed him. The smell of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the kitchen, mingling with the remnants of last night's barbecue lingering in the air. Laura stood by the counter, her heart racing as she rifled through a stack of papers that had been tucked away in her husband's desk drawer. The morning light filtered through the window, casting a warm glow, but it did little to ease the growing tension in her chest. With each page she flipped, a sense of dread clawed at her insides. She felt like she was on the precipice of a revelation, but she couldn't shake the fear of what she might find. Then, amidst the mundane paperwork, she stumbled upon a neatly folded document. As she unfolded it, her breath caught in her throat. It was a clause in her husband's will she had never known existed, one that explicitly outlined his wishes regarding the inheritance. "Oh my God, I can't believe this," Laura whispered to herself, her heart sinking at the implications. This was no ordinary clause. It directly addressed the possibility of manipulation from anyone trying to claim what was rightfully his, and it clearly stated his intent for the estate. She felt a mix of relief and anger wash over her. Just then, the soft tinkling of wind chimes outside interrupted her thoughts, a melodic reminder of the calm before the storm. She needed to confront Jennifer, but the thought of facing her ex-daughter-in-law sent shivers down her spine. With a determined breath, Laura picked up her phone and dialed Tom. "Laura, what's up?" Tom answered, his voice steady and reassuring. "I found something in Mike's dad's will," Laura said, trying to keep her voice steady. "There's a clause that protects against manipulation regarding the inheritance. I need your help." "Of course, I'll be right there," Tom replied, understanding the weight of the situation. As she hung up, Laura couldn't shake the feeling that Jennifer had been working behind the scenes. The tension from their last family gathering crept back into her mind. Jennifer had always harbored resentment, and now it seemed she was using it as a weapon. Laura's thoughts raced as she recalled the conversations she'd overheard. Subtle hints that Michael was being swayed, whispers that questioned Laura's ability to manage the estate. A few minutes later, Tom arrived, his presence a steadying force. "What's the plan?" he asked, his brow furrowed with concern as he took in her anxious expression. "I need to confront Jennifer about what I found. I can't let her manipulate Mike or anyone else," Laura said, determination seeping into her voice. "Let's do it together," Tom suggested, placing a supportive hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone in this." As they drove to Michael's house, the weight of the day pressed heavily on Laura's heart. She had always been the protector of her family's legacy, but now it felt as if it was slipping through her fingers. When they arrived, Laura took a deep breath, the sound of the wind chimes from Michael's porch mocking her resolve. She pushed the door open and stepped inside. "Michael, Jennifer, we need to talk," she called out, her voice echoing in the quiet space. Michael emerged from the kitchen, a curious expression on his face. "What's going on, Mom?" Before Laura could respond, Jennifer appeared, her smile icy. "Oh, look who decided to join us," she said with feigned cheerfulness. "Laura, are you okay?" Michael asked, sensing the tension. "I'm more than okay. I found something in your dad's will," she said, directing her gaze at Jennifer, who shifted uncomfortably. "There's a clause that makes it clear what his wishes were regarding the estate." Jennifer's facade cracked slightly. "And what's that supposed to mean?" "It means I know exactly what your game is," Laura said, her voice rising. "You've been trying to convince Michael that I'm unfit to manage the estate, haven't you?" Michael looked between them, confusion written all over his face. "Is this true, Jennifer?" "Oh, come on, Laura, you're blowing this out of proportion," Jennifer retorted, though her eyes flickered with guilt. "I just think it's time for a fresh perspective on things." "Fresh perspective?" Laura echoed, disbelief flooding her. "You've been trying to manipulate everyone into siding with you. That's not a fresh perspective, that's a power grab." "Maybe if you were more competent, we wouldn't have to talk about this," Jennifer shot back, her voice rising. At that moment, Laura felt her heart race, a surge of anger boiling within her. "You think this is about competence? This is about your greed, Jennifer. You've tried to turn my own son against me." "Don't you dare speak to me about greed," Jennifer snapped. "You think you know everything, but you don't." "Clearly, I know more than you think," Laura said, her voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions. "I won't let you tear this family apart for your selfish desires." As the tension hung thick in the air, Laura's heart raced with a mixture of fear and resolve. She was done being sidelined. She turned to Michael, who looked lost. "You deserve to know the truth. Your father wanted you to be protected from all of this." For a moment, silence enveloped the room. Laura's heart was pounding as she prepared for the fallout. Would Michael believe her? Would he finally see through Jennifer's manipulations? And just like that, the storm that had been brewing for so long finally broke. "Oh my God," Laura whispered in disbelief. "I can explain everything," Jennifer said desperately. The sun peeked through the trees in the backyard, casting playful shadows that danced across the grass. Laura stood at the table, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the air, mingling with the faint scent of flowers. She had invited her closest friends and family over, knowing she needed their support more than ever. Her heart raced as she prepared to confront the storm that had brewed between her and Jennifer. It felt surreal, like she was living in a twisted reality where betrayal lurked around every corner. Tom arrived first, his easy smile a comfort amidst the tension that hung in the air. "You ready for this?" he asked, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I don't know, Tom," Laura admitted, glancing toward the house. "I just can't shake the feeling that she's plotting something. Oh my God, it's like she's waiting for the right moment to strike." Tom nodded, sensing her unease. "You've got the will on your side. Don't forget that. We'll face her together." As the others trickled in, Laura's mind drifted back to the conversation she had with the lawyer earlier that week. The weight of her husband's legacy felt heavier than ever. "You need to protect the estate from any claims," the lawyer had advised, his tone serious yet empathetic. "Make sure everyone knows your husband's true intentions." The thought of Jennifer, scheming and bitter, stirred a deep anger within her. Preserve the original language of the text. Laura's heart sank as she recalled the look on Jennifer's face when they last met, a mix of smug satisfaction and resentment that was hard to ignore. She knew that Jennifer had always felt slighted, but this was a new low. In the backyard, the sound of wind chimes kinkled gently, a reminder of simpler times. Cultural reflection. In the backyard, it hurt like betrayal. As Laura took a deep breath, she tried to gather her thoughts. She remembered the values her husband held dear: honesty, integrity, and loyalty. Those were the principles that had shaped their life together, and she was determined to uphold them, no matter the cost. As everyone settled in, Laura cleared her throat, the moment feeling monumental. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady but laden with emotion. "I know this isn't the easiest conversation, but we need to address what's happening with the will." Michael shifted uncomfortably in his seat, his expression a mixture of skepticism and annoyance. "You mean what's happening with Jennifer? Come on, Laura, you can't seriously think she's trying to steal anything. She's just upset." "Upset?" Laura echoed, her voice rising slightly. "She's trying to undermine everything we've built as a family. I found a clause in the will that clearly states—" She paused, collecting her thoughts before continuing, "that the estate is to remain with me and our children." Tom leaned in, interjecting, "And that's why we're here today, to discuss how we can stand together against any claims she might make." The tension in the air shifted as Laura's resolve solidified. She looked at her family and friends, their expressions a mix of support and concern. "I just want you all to understand what's at stake. This isn't just about money, it's about honoring my husband's memory." Michael crossed his arms, still unconvinced. "But why now? Why not just let it go? It feels dramatic." "Because it's not just about me, Michael," Laura snapped, her frustration boiling over. "My husband entrusted me with this, and I can't let her manipulate the situation. I can't believe you're siding with her." His face hardened, and for a moment, Laura saw the boy who had always felt overshadowed by her. "I'm not siding with anyone. I just think you're blowing this out of proportion." Laura took a deep breath, her heart racing as she fought to keep her composure. The smell of pancakes brought painful memories. She had spent countless mornings in this very backyard, cooking for her family, the laughter of her children filling the air. Those memories were now threatened by deceit and manipulation. Just then, the door swung open and Jennifer stepped out, her expression one of feigned innocence. "I hope I'm not interrupting anything important," she said, her tone laced with sarcasm. Laura's heart raced. The confrontation she had dreaded was finally here. "We need to talk about the will, Jennifer," Laura said, her voice unwavering despite the storm of emotions within her. Jennifer smirked, her eyes sparkling with a mix of challenge and amusement. "Oh, really? What's there to talk about? Isn't it just a piece of paper?" Michael shot Laura a warning glance, but she pressed on. "It's not just a piece of paper. It's a promise, Jennifer, a promise my husband made to protect our family." "Protect or control?" Jennifer retorted, stepping closer. "You think you can just keep everything from me because you're the devoted wife? You don't own him, Laura." Laura's heart raced, but she stood her ground. "He chose me, Jennifer. He chose this family." Tom intervened, standing beside Laura. "You need to back off, Jennifer. This isn't just about you and your past grievances. It's about Laura and her children." In that moment, something shifted. Laura felt a surge of strength. That moment in the backyard changed everything. She realized that she wasn't just defending her husband's legacy, she was standing up for herself and her children. As tension crackled in the air, Laura met Jennifer's gaze, her heart resolute. Whatever happened next, she would not back down. The final confrontation was only beginning, and she was ready to fight for what was right. Laura clenched her fists. "I don't want to hear any more excuses." Jennifer hung his head. "I'm truly sorry." The sun hung high in the sky, casting warm rays over the backyard where the family gathering was about to take place. The tantalizing aroma of barbecued ribs wafted through the air, mingling with the fresh scent of cut grass. Birds chirped merrily, seemingly oblivious to the tension that simmered just beneath the surface. Laura stood at the patio table, her heart racing as she clutched the folded will in her hand, feeling the weight of every word inscribed on that paper. Tom arrived just in time, his easy smile providing a brief moment of comfort. "You ready for this?" he asked, giving her a reassuring nod. "I guess I have to be," Laura replied, her voice shaky but resolute. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. This meeting was crucial, and she needed to lay everything out on the table. "I can't believe it's come to this." As family members filtered into the backyard, the mood shifted. Laughter and chatter echoed around them, but Laura could feel the storm brewing just beneath the surface. She spotted Michael and Jennifer across the yard, their heads bent close together, whispering conspiratorially. Every instinct in her screamed that they were up to no good. Once everyone had settled, Laura cleared her throat, her heart sinking as she prepared to speak. "Thank you all for coming. I know this isn't the easiest of gatherings, but I need to address something important." The chatter quieted down, and she could feel their eyes on her, curiosity mixed with concern. Jennifer's expression was inscrutable, her eyes narrowing as Laura continued. "I've discovered something about the will that my husband signed before he passed." She unfolded the document, her hands trembling slightly. "This clearly states that he intended for me to inherit everything, not you, Jennifer." The silence that followed was thick, filled with disbelief. Jennifer's eyes widened, but she quickly masked her surprise with a smirk. "Oh, please, Laura, you expect us to believe that? You were always the favored one." Laura shook her head, heart racing. "I gathered testimonies from others, people who can confirm your manipulations. I won't let you take what rightfully belongs to my family." The words hung heavy in the air, igniting a fire in her chest. "Manipulations?" Jennifer scoffed, crossing her arms defiantly. "You think you can intimidate me with that? You've always been so dramatic. No one believes you." "Actually, I do." Tom stepped forward, his voice steady and firm. "I saw what Jennifer was doing. It's wrong, and you know it." Michael shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting between Laura and Jennifer. "This isn't the way to handle family business," he muttered, his voice barely above a whisper. Laura felt her frustration boiling over. "Michael, you need to wake up. She's trying to take everything. You can't let her manipulate you like this." She could see the conflict in his eyes, the way he wrestled with the truth and his loyalty to Jennifer. "Laura, just stop," Michael snapped, his patience wearing thin. "You're not the only one who's hurting here. You've always been the star, and I'm just the sidekick." At that moment, Laura's heart sank deeper than she thought possible. How had it come to this? "This isn't about being a star, Michael. This is about protecting our family's legacy," she said softly, her voice cracking. The confrontation escalated. Voices rose, accusations flew, and buried resentments spilled into the open. "You never cared about us," Jennifer shouted, her eyes blazing. "You think you're better than everyone else because you have his money?" "Enough," Laura shouted back, her heart pounding in her chest. "This isn't just about money. It's about respect and honor. You can't just take what's not yours." As the argument reached a fever pitch, Laura felt a rush of adrenaline. This was the moment she had prepared for, but it didn't feel like victory. It felt like heartbreak, like watching her family tear itself apart. Then, with a sharp intake of breath, she revealed the surprise. "You all think this is about the will, but it's not just that. There's something else." She pulled out a photograph from her pocket, an image of the family taken just months before her husband's passing. "In this picture, he wrote a note on the back for all of you, something he wanted me to share if this ever happened." Gasps echoed around her as she turned the photo over. "He said he loved you all, but that he trusted me to protect the family's legacy and to ensure that love remained no matter what happened." The silence that followed was profound. Laura looked around, searching for some sign of understanding. "I'm not here to take away your family. I want to keep it together. Please, let's not let this divide us." For a moment, everyone stood still, grappling with the weight of her words. Jennifer opened her mouth to retaliate, but then paused, her expression faltering. Michael looked between Laura and Jennifer, the tension in his shoulders easing slightly. "Maybe we can talk this through," he said slowly, his voice softening. Laura held her breath, hoping for a breakthrough, a chance to mend the rifts that had formed. Maybe, just maybe, they could find a way to heal together. "Enough!" Laura shouted, her voice echoing. "Please, let me speak," Jennifer pleaded. "There's nothing left to say," Laura finalized. The morning sun filtered through the living room windows, casting a warm glow over the space where Laura sat, her fingers tracing the edges of the will she had brought with her. The familiar scent of freshly brewed coffee lingered in the air, intermingling with the aroma of the apple pie cooling on the kitchen counter. It was a comforting smell, a reminder of happier times, yet it only deepened the bittersweet feeling swirling within her. Tom settled into a chair across from her, concern etched across his features. "You did what you had to do, Laura. You can't let her walk all over you." Laura nodded, her heart heavy. "I know, but oh my God, I can't believe it's come to this. Jennifer was family once. Now she's someone who's trying to take everything from us." The distant sound of traffic outside seemed to fade as she focused on the task ahead. Today was crucial. Today, she would confront Jennifer and reclaim not just her late husband's wishes, but her sense of peace too. As the doorbell rang, Laura's stomach tightened. She glanced at Tom, who gave her an encouraging nod. "Remember, you're not alone in this." Taking a deep breath, Laura opened the door to find Jennifer standing there, her expression a mix of defiance and uncertainty. "You wanted to talk?" Jennifer asked, her tone sharper than the autumn chill in the air. "Yes, we need to discuss what you've been trying to do," Laura replied firmly, stepping aside to let Jennifer in. The tension in the room thickened, a palpable energy that seemed to vibrate with unspoken accusations. Jennifer crossed her arms, a defensive posture that only fueled Laura's resolve. "I don't see why you're making this such a big deal. You have everything you need." Laura's heart sank at the dismissive tone. "It's not just about money, Jennifer. It's about honoring my husband's memory. The will clearly states his wishes, and they don't include you claiming anything that belongs to our family." Jennifer scoffed, her eyes narrowing. "You think waving that piece of paper around is going to change anything? You're just holding on to something that doesn't matter anymore." The words stung, but Laura stood her ground. "You're wrong. It matters more than you know. My husband wanted to protect our legacy, and I intend to uphold that." In that moment, Laura felt a surge of strength, a reminder of why she had fought so hard for her family's honor. The smell of apple pie wafting from the kitchen served as a poignant reminder of the love that had once filled their home. "Laura," Tom interjected gently, "you don't have to do this alone. We can work together to move forward as a family." Jennifer rolled her eyes, but Laura could see a flicker of doubt in her expression. Is this really worth it, after everything? Laura took a step closer, her voice steady. "Yes, it is. It's worth it because I believe in what my husband stood for. I believe in family, even if it means facing you today." As the tension hung thick in the air, Jennifer hesitated, her defenses slowly crumbling. "What if I'm not the only one who feels this way?" she murmured, almost to herself. Laura felt a glimmer of hope. "Then maybe it's time for us to talk about what we all need. Healing can start with honest conversations, but it has to begin with acknowledging the truth." The silence that followed was heavy, but within it lay the potential for transformation. Laura could see the wheels turning in Jennifer's mind, and she silently prayed for understanding to break through the resentment. "I just wanted things to be different," Jennifer finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought if I claimed what I felt was mine, it would fix everything." Laura's heart softened. "But this isn't just about you. It's about all of us. We can rebuild if we face the truth together." As they continued to talk, Laura felt the emotional turmoil begin to ease, like a storm finally passing. "I just wanted things to be different," Jennifer finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I thought if I claimed what I felt was mine, it would fix everything." Laura's heart softened. "But this isn't just about you. It's about all of us. We can rebuild if we face the truth together." As they continued to talk, Laura felt the emotional turmoil begin to ease, like a storm finally passing. The distant traffic outside seemed to fade even further as the barriers between them began to dissolve. This was not just a confrontation, it was a turning point. Reflecting on the moment, Laura realized how far they had come. The living room, once filled with tension, began to transform into a space of potential healing. "This moment is a chance for us," she thought, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. In the days that followed, Laura and Michael worked side by side to mend their family ties, bridging the gaps that had widened over time. As they shared meals and stories, laughter began to weave its way back into their lives, blending seamlessly with the warmth of apple pie. Laura's heart swelled with a newfound sense of peace. Her late husband's wishes were honored, and the legacy he left behind would not be lost. In the end, Laura stood at her porch, taking a deep breath of the crisp autumn air, feeling the strength of her family around her. "My daughter-in-law tried to steal my husband's inheritance until I showed her the will he signed. And you, on your porch, how far would you go to protect your family's legacy?"